Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt an invisible thread connecting you to the distant stars? For Alara, it wasn't just a feeling, it was a promise. Ilara grew up in a small town where the faint streetlights were the only competition for the brilliant glow of the Milky Way. Since she was a little girl, she had been captivated by her grandmother's tales of constellations, distant worlds, and an infinite cosmic energy source. While her friends dreamed of castles and earthly adventures, Ilara dreamed of harnessing the power of the stars to light up the entire world. Her dream was considered fanciful. Energy from the stars? The girl has read too many fairy tales, people would whisper. Even her parents, who loved her dearly, gently advised her to pursue more practical careers. But Ilara was undeterred. In her small attic, she created her own laboratory, with planet models made from papier-mâché and complex diagrams scribbled on old papers. Her dream was not a fleeting thought. It was a smoldering fire that never went out. Upon entering university, Ilara chose to major in astrophysics, a decision that surprised many. She was one of the few female students in her department, and her ideas about stellar energy were often ridiculed in seminars. Her professor, Dr. Alistair Finch, a respected but conservative scientist, flatly dismissed her thesis as science fiction. "Miss Ilara," he said with a stern face, "the energy we need is under the ground, not up in the sky." These rejections and doubts were like fortified walls closing in on Ilara. She applied for research grants time and time again, only to be met with shaking heads. Her peers began to secure stable jobs, while she toiled away with equations and theories that no one believed in. There were nights when, sitting alone in the cold lab, Ilara wondered if she was chasing a phantom. The loneliness and pressure nearly extinguished the passionate flame within her. The height of her frustration came when her first simulation model exploded, destroying a year's worth of research. The explosion sounded like a mocking laugh at her dream. Everyone said, "We told you so." It was the moment Ilara felt she had hit rock bottom. At her lowest point, Ilara stumbled upon an old journal belonging to her grandmother. Between the yellowed pages, her grandmother had written about a melody of the stars, a theory that each star emits a unique energy frequency, and if one could harmonize with them, it could create a powerful resonant energy source. It wasn't science, it was poetry, but it rekindled Ilara's lost inspiration. She realized her mistake wasn't in the dream itself, but in her approach. Instead of trying to exploit, she needed to listen. With a completely new perspective, Ilara started over. She stopped building complex machines and instead designed a sophisticated sensor system, a giant pair of ears to listen to the universe. She worked tirelessly, blending her knowledge of astrophysics with her grandmother's poetic ideas. She found an unlikely mentor, a retired sound engineer, who taught her about frequencies and resonance. Together, they created a device capable of capturing and converting subtle energy waves from space. After months of relentless work, the fateful night arrived. In an old, dusty observatory atop a mountain, Ilara and the old engineer activated their system. At first, there was only a daunting silence. But then, a sound began to emanate from the speakers. A deep, low hum that gradually rose into a beautiful, magical melody. The monitors began to display dancing numbers, confirming they were capturing energy. It wasn't much energy, just enough to light a single small light bulb, but that bulb shone with the most brilliant light Ilara had ever seen. It wasn't just the light of electricity, it was the light of hope, of perseverance, and of a dream that had refused to sleep. News of Ilara's success spread quickly. Dr. Finch, after witnessing the experiment firsthand,
publicly apologized and became the strongest advocate for her project. The investors who had once rejected her now lined up to fund her research. Years later, Ilara stood on the stage of a global energy conference. Behind her was an image of the Earth at night, brightly illuminated by countless points of light. Stellar energy was no longer a fanciful dream, but had become part of a clean energy grid, powering millions of homes worldwide. Ilara concluded her speech with simple words. People often told me to keep my feet on the ground. But I believe that to reach the stars, you must first dare to look up at the sky. Nurture your dreams, even when the whole world says they are impossible, because a dream never truly sleeps as long as you continue to believe in it. Her story became a legend, a reminder to everyone that no dream is too big and no star is too far away.